Luke Shaw was looking to the sidelines. He was like, help. He's like 10 seconds away from saying something very racist.
Welcome back to Fried Footie. We have an incredible guest joining us today, a true die-hard Arsenal fan. You've seen his work in GQ, and last year he just published his first novel, The Minotaur at Calle Lanza. Live from his literary fortress of solitude in Brooklyn, Zito Madu. We gotta start right where your heart is. Is this the year Arteta finally breaks the curse of second?
I think I was probably on that train until Liverpool scored that last minute penalty to win. It would be nice if we won, but also like Liverpool bought any and everyone.
And it sounds like this is coming from a place of hurt and despair and disappointment.
My thing is, I'm trying to escape misery.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Right? And it's not even like escaping disappointment. It's just like so much of the season is determined by like injuries and things that are just out of your control. Like Arsenal's last season, you could look at when we like drew almost every goddamn game. And it was because we lost like our 4 best players in the same like 2 months. That's the gods looking at Mikel Arteta's dictatorship and saying no.
Speaking of Mikel Arteta's dictatorship, how do you feel about like the way he coaches offensive football?
Well, I think he plays preventative football. Like his mindset is, if we don't concede, we always have a chance to score. Right. And I think most of the time it works. We finished second. Like, remember where Arsenal were before he got there? He plays like, what is that, like, anti-sex program that they used to have in school?
Oh, like a DARE program?
Yeah. Like, I was like, he kind of plays like, I can't have a pregnancy scare if I never have sex. He's just like, you can't get scored on if you don't allow them to play. Like, I think his first season, I had photoshopped him as like an African dictator. It should have been a Spanish dictator. And I was like, that's who he is. And you can't change it.
We got to get to Gyökeres. I'm the only believer in him here.
In the first half, you texted me he's a bum.
He's
You
still a
cannot
bum.
call yourself a believer. That is not fair.
Listen, he's still a bum, but he's not a bum to the level that I think some of us here were making him out to be.
Gyökeres is good. Like, he wasn't I wanted him to get Isak. Like, I love a big, beefy, like, tall white dude that's just out there, like, cause harm.
You know what? I didn't appreciate what he was until you just put I love writers. You got a way with words. A beefy, because that's what he is. He's just a kind of
like,
just
6'4", big as shit. Like he has that little line through his hair. Like he's seen a civil war in his lifetime. That's what I'm saying. Like he moves like that.
How impressed were you by Eze's debut?
I mean, he's Nigerian. That was always on his side.
Oh, God.
Like, I never doubted that man. I love him. He's so good. He's so patient. He's like so silky on the ball. He's a good passer. He makes really, really good decisions. And yeah, and then he saw that Tottenham move happen and he was like, no. The fact that this man called Arteta himself and said, is there any possibility you could come get me?
Like a hostage, he said, save me.
He's like, don't let this happen to me.
I mean, obviously I'm biased, but to be someone who got dumped by Arsenal's youth academy and then to come begging back, and when you want Arsenal's first choice again is crazy to me. But
it's
kind of toxic.
Yeah,
it's a feeling, man. I'm so sorry, but if Beyonce's like, I know I dumped you in high school, but I'm ready now. I'm like, that's
but
crazy.
the thing is, but they weren't ready. You have to chase them again. It's not like Arsenal came like, hey, Eze, we're sorry. We see how good you are. They actually were like, oh, we're actually cool. We actually don't really need you. And then he was like, no, I'm so much better now. Please.
If Beyonce and Jay broke up tomorrow, would you text her if you had a straight line to her?
Okay, first off, Eze is not Beyonce, so let's start there.
Arsenal's
not Beyonce either. No one we talked about in this conversation is Beyonce. Let's pump the brakes. We haven't brought up anything Beyonce related since this conversation started. Beyonce,
the person that you always wanted, broke up with the person that they're with and texted and was available, and you had a direct line to them. And you're just like, look, it doesn't mean that we have to date. I just want to know if you're available.
I mean, that's fair. No, I mean,
exactly.
I feel it. I'd have to take a hard look at my current roster and see, the situation.
It's just like, look,
what you mean?
Either I'm going to let pride get in the way or I got to shoot this shot.
No lie. Beyonce being what ticks Rodney off about the Arsenal comparison.
He's like, it's not Beyonce.
The chef's kiss.
Yeah, this is not about Beyonce. This is about Tottenham. I could feel the pain in Rodney's voice.
Oh,
He was so hyped for Eze.
Hey, I saw that Tommy Simon's corner. All the pain just withered away. It just melted off me. I'm good.
Being chased by the rival, the team that you hate. I mean, at that point, you gotta make a call. You gotta just see what's in the water. Because then that's like the next 5 years of your life, you're playing for a team that you really fucking hate.
That's got to be tough. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, you're supposed to go in that Tottenham stadium and tell the fans, I really love being here. Tears just rolling down your eyes.
Of course.
You're like, I've always loved Roman Pavlyuchenko.
Okay, last thing on Arsenal that we got to touch on, which has been a topic on our podcast, is your 15-year-old phenom, Max Dowman. How impressed have you been by him?
I love child labor violations, is what I'm saying. That kid should be in school.
I was ready to throw him in there. Brad said,
Brad said he should have been starting.
I'm not a big fan of Odegaard. I feel like Odegaard, I don't know what he's doing in the starting lineup.
Don't insult my captain.
I don't think he's got like this time next year he will not be your captain.
I don't know if that's true. When he's not there, our style of play changes completely. It's a lot more like easy to read because Odegaard is really good at making passes that are not typical. I wish he was faster because that's his main problem. Is like whenever he's trying to drive the ball forward, the defenders are like, "That's crazy," because we're still here.
We have to talk about Manchester United. I'm sorry.
Do we though?
We do.
He's a positive Manchester United fan. That's all this is. So it's okay.
My question for you, Zeets, is as an unbiased viewer, as a neutral fan, how would you rate the job that Ruben Amorim has done?
I love that you're asking an Arsenal fan as an unbiased. I'm like, that's crazy because the hate that I have for that team is biblical.
I don't talk about him as much as he does, though, so I get it. I get it.
I'm so disappointed in Amorim because he keeps making the same excuse, right? Which is that, like, they just don't fit the system. The system is going to work eventually. The system is going to work eventually. And I'm just like, this is a man who doesn't really know how to do anything else. So he's trying to say that it's this way or no other way, right? Like, I made this comment online recently is that there's not too many players on United that you could say that he's made better. But there's a lot of players that you could say play worse under him. Right. Like, he has them all playing in a system that doesn't really suit anyone. And so it's like Bruno looks terrible in that system.
Yeah, and it's not as if he like worked this system on all these different stops and had tons and tons of success. It's like one successful run at Sporting Lisbon, which is probably far and away the most talented team in Portugal. Mm-hmm. And then here it is, just try it in the Prem.
It's a midfielder. It's the midfielder. That's it. All the money. Yeah. All the money was an attacker now. We wait for a midfielder. That's it.
I feel like you can't say it's only the midfield when you watch what Jeremy Doku did to Luke Shaw this weekend.
Luke Shaw was looking to the sidelines. He was like, help.
He didn't why Doku was there. He was confused. He did not understand.
I was like, he's like 10 seconds away from saying something very racist. That's the kind of like performance when a winger is just killing you where I'm just like, look, if you said it, I'm gonna pretend I don't hear it.
Oh my god. Chuck, how are you feeling though? You know, because you've supported Ruben Amorim. You believe I made a bet with Chuck that Ruben Amorim would get fired before February 1st. With tremendous odds.
First of all,
how are you feeling?
First of all, you are just a troll. You did this last year with the relegation. You made me sit up here. Is Man U gonna get relegated? My boy up top, team finished in the lower spot than Man U on the table. So I refuse to do this with you anymore. I'm just
asking how you feel about Ruben.
I refuse. Zito, Mr. Zito, can I call you Mr. Zito?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Zito, I think you had actually a really good analysis because at a certain point, when do you just be like, let me tweak it? He doesn't have to change, but do something different.
Yeah.
For me, it was Bruno. I'm like, Bruno doesn't mark. Like, not that Bruno can't. What the Bruno don't mark?
He don't mark, man. He complains. Hey, if you have these players with these qualities, why are you exposing their worst weaknesses, right? Like, Bruno can't run and keep up with these players. Why are you putting him in a position to do? Because then he's not good back there, and then he's not good going forward. Because now he's just tired all the time, and it's like I don't understand that logic of like, here's the glaring weaknesses of my players. What if I put them in the spotlight? That's an insane.
Nah, he's gaslighting the whole fan base. He comes up there every week and says, "I'm suffering more than you. Trust me." And it's like, how many game weeks can you run that line out there?
Because he's depressed. That's why we need like mental health.
Did you guys see Mazraoui's hair?
Oh yeah, because I made a joke. I was like, oh, either he's gonna have to cut that or go to Turkey. But then everyone was like, but he has gone to Turkey. That's why his hair is like that.
Did he go to Turkey? I just thought he had the Doc Rivers, keep it super
low. Doc Rivers is like a tattoo, I think.
Yeah. But like Mazraoui had hair. It was just thinning. And so now he's like,
So he has a piece. He has a piece. He doesn't have the full.
Yeah. Thing. So I'm just like, all right. It doesn't please God, but I see what's gonna happen in like 6 to 8 months. He's gonna come there like Antonio Conte, like hair down to his shoulders. He's like, I appreciate a man who's like shameless about it.
See, I feel like Mo Salah like did it perfectly. The day the season ended.
No, you were hating on Mo Salah.
No, but we see the results now. Like right when he came back, it still looked decent. Like the day the season ended, Mo Salah was in Istanbul. I feel like Mazraoui might. I don't know. There might have been a delay or something.
Yeah, like why would you do it during the season? Because now we got to see it. But I like that Mo came back. He's like, look at this fade. This shit is cool as fuck. And I was like, you never had a fade before. But he's like, you see this line?
Good to be Egyptian. Good to be Egyptian. Uh-huh.
Yeah. He's like, now I'm really in my element now.
I've heard a lot of people say that the Bournemouth coach Iraola, if the Man U job comes up, would be a great candidate. If you were Iraola, would you take that job?
I think everyone will always say yes to the Man U job because you get a ton of money. And you get to coach Manchester United, and also you get to potentially be the coach that saves Manchester United, right? Like it's like certain jobs are like the Man U is still one of the biggest clubs in the world, right? Like as brand wise, you're in Bournemouth. Like let's be serious let's be honest about your social conditions here. You're in Bournemouth. You could be a Bournemouth coach or a Manchester United coach. Even if you fail, you're still a Manchester United coach, right? It's like, all right, I can go to Uniqlo and buy the best shirt. Or I could wear some Prada shirt. And it might be bad, but it's still a Prada shirt, right? So I think he will automatically take that job. Like once someone throws 20 million at you, what are you gonna say? Oh no, I don't want this. The pressure's too much. Like no, you take it and get fired, and then you like you go on vacation.
Go coach in Germany or somewhere.
Yeah, you like go on vacation and travel the world and like start doing like little captions on your Instagram about love and nature. Like that's 20 million free money. So I think he will automatically say, like, just because that brand is so big, right? It's always like, it reminds me so much of people who were like, why are players still going to Barcelona? They're so poor. I'm like, because it's Barcelona. And when you're a kid, that's what you dream of is playing for Barcelona or Real Madrid. And they could be 10th place. But if Barcelona's like, hey, would you like to play for us? Most players are going to be like, absolutely.
So I don't know if you people, we do a little series here. We try to get FIFA to get right and immigration, and we trying to change the world. And France, UK, shit, the US to some extent has players here that probably shouldn't be playing here. They should be playing for their home people. Nigeria, though, in recent years, they've had some people come back. Tough draw recently versus South Africa, the 1-1 1-1 draw for the World Cup qualifier. But my question is, why won't more of citizens or Nigerian people with ancestry or Africans in general go play for their ancestral country?
Because those teams are a mess. Like Nigeria had Eze in the youth teams. Like Eze played in the youth teams with what's his name in Fulham? Why can I not remember his name? My guy.
Iwobi, yeah.
Iwobi, yeah. Like they were all in the youth team together. There was all those players with Nigerian ancestry. they could have played for that team, but Nigeria is a mess. Like the team is a mess.
When you say a mess, like do you have like some examples? Or
yeah,
like,
it's just like the federation's a mess. Like when you see what the players talk about, like the training facilities, the way that they don't get paid, the way that like the managers don't call them and check up on them, or like these sort of things that you won't like. I think what separates those bigger teams from like a lot of the way that the African teams are run is just simply consideration, right? Which is if you want to attract the best players, you need to create a program where they feel that they can like it's prestige. And you see the complaints that they make in the Nigerian team. It used to be the Ghanaian team as well, right? It was you can also see with like the Jamaican team. It was taking a long time for like the players with Jamaican ancestry to join the team because they're like, we go in there and we're washing our own clothes. Like that's insane, right? Like it's the kind of like not consideration that you're a big program that annoys players. Like you would never see a player go to like France and be like, oh, we were practicing in the youth field or whatever, right? Like that's just a silly thing, or like we didn't get paid in time. Like Ghana will have that whole incident that they had to fly in money by like in backpacks because the Ghanaian Federation wasn't paying their players, right? But it's like the kind of thing where it happens a bunch of times, and the players who are grown up, it's like, why would I go there, right? Like it's so much harder to play and to feel wanted there when they do these things, and it's not even like Nigeria is like a poor country, right? Like it's the same thing with the country as it is for the federation. It's more about management. And like I don't even want to single them out because it's not just the African teams. Remember, like the reason that Messi retired from Argentina was because it was so like it was so messy. And he was like, well, yeah. And he was like, unless the federation like whoever was the executive at the time, unless he's fired, I'm not coming back. And like the way that they got him back was to revamp that whole program, right? And so I think the African teams have just like gotten away with that for so long, and they miss out on so much talent. And the way that the structure works is so annoying because sometimes it's like, oh, why are you calling up? Like I know you want to do like homegrown stuff, which is great, but like you have these great players playing on these European teams, and you're calling up Odion and Gallo. Like, come on, be serious, right? You're firing one of your best managers to give the job to like a person that you like, and now you're struck like you didn't qualify for other tournaments, and now you're at risk of not qualifying for this tournament, and you're one of the biggest African teams, right? Like when Italy didn't qualify for the World Cup, they threw everything. They were just like, no way. But it's like, why? Like the people that's in charge need to not be in charge, and it needs to be like professionalized in a in a way that represents the stature of the team, so that like the players who play can then tell their friends like, hey, like playing for Nigeria is very fun. Like, look at all of this. It can't be I'm going there and I have to bring soap and water because I need to wash my own jersey. Like that's insane for like like you're playing in the Premier League. And then you come in and now you're like doing chores.
International break.
On international break. Like it's embarrassing. So I think that's so much of what it is like every time, like the US had that problem for a long time, right? Like why a lot of like the mixed ethnicity players just didn't want to play for the US. And it's like, because it's not fun to play here. Right. And it took so much for them to be like, look, this is amazing. Diego Luna, would you not like to play in this fascist state? But
seriously.
But you just have to make it attractive, right? And you have to professionalize it. And I think a lot of the African teams just have not done that. But also like a lot of it's not just the African team, the Caribbean islands or the Caribbean teams are like that as well. But theirs I think is so much about funding and about like the lack of funds that's in there. But yes, I think you see it with Nigeria, you see it with Ghana, you see it with a lot of the other African teams. Like players will come out and say like, oh, it's just not professional environment. And it's better to just be on the bench in England than go there, like wash the floors and sweep in the morning.
Sad. I just got one more World Cup qualifying question. You brought up Messi. Final game for Argentina, his home last game in the qualifier. We don't know if he's going to play in the World Cup. Do you want to see Messi play in the World Cup?
You know, part of me is going to be disappointed if he does, because I wrote a beautiful essay when he won the World Cup, and it was like ESPN's most read piece for that year, and I was like, look at me, right extraordinaire. So now I'm like, God damn, he's trying to ruin my vibe. But I mean, the longer Messi plays, the better, right? I have such a high opinion of him in the sense of he really, and this is I'm working on this literary soccer book in part, I'm using him as one of the the bookends of the book, in a sense of he is someone who's expanded what the imagination of the game is, in a way that the things that he does on the field is such a combination of other specialized players, but you've never found that in one person, right? You've never had a time when one of the best goal scorers ever is also one of the best playmakers ever, is also one of the best center midfielders ever. It's an insane combination to have a guy who's excellent at dribbling, at passing, at scoring, and just creation in general, right? And so I think the longer he plays, the better it is for the game. Because I think once he's gone, it shrinks a little bit. Not that there's not players who aren't extraordinary, but you just don't have that alien creature in the same way. So I'm all for him playing. I like that he's playing, and he's still very effective. He's still scoring in the games, right? He's still beating up Venezuela. And so that's fun for me. I really want him to play, but also I understand he's 38 now. And it's so wild to be I saw your first goal. And also you're 38, which means I'm old as fuck. So, but I like him playing. The longer he plays, the better I think it is for the game, because he's also still at a high level, even if he's playing in MLS.
Yeah. Well, you know who will be playing? Ronaldo. He will be out
there. Of course. That's a dictator. That's the biggest European dictator in a long time.
Got Portugal.
How is Portugal ever gonna get him off the field? There's gonna come a day where there has to be a fight.
The same way that you get any dictator out is a coup. You have to perform a coup.
Leo gonna lead the coup.
Yeah, you gotta bring in some CIA operatives. You gotta overthrow that man, because he's not letting go of power anytime soon.
I think he'd play till he's 60 if they let him.
He's going to play as long as they let him. And I think at a certain point, he has so much power in that federation that the managers, when they come in, they're like, oh, you got to pick him. They don't even fight it. They're just you got to pick him. What can you do? Where I think it's fun that Messi is I'm getting too old. I love my kids. I want to spend time with my kids and my wife, and all this shady money that I've been making in the last few years. Where Ronaldo is just no.
He's bringing the kid to work.
1,000, man.
I'm gonna bring my kid to work. Get to it. We're grinding together now.
He's I don't even know this woman. I want to play football forever.
He's I just decided I wanted to marry her.
We need 1,000 goals.
That is crazy that he just married. Just officially proposed.
He just decided he wanted to get married to her. So
because I'm about to get 1,000 goals. Now we get married. It's a thing. Celebration. You guys.
Yeah. He's so much of a product, and that's good or bad, right? But he's always seen himself as a product, right? Something to sell, something to and so. Yeah, it was not surprising that he's my engagement has to be timed with the amount of goals that I'm scoring, or I'm gonna go to Saudi because I want to be the face of this place or whatever, which is fine. It's I think the minute that he was at United and he got really good, he looked at Beckham and he was oh, I could do that, and then he was I could supersede that, right? And so he wants to be an institution in himself. And he is an institution in himself. But he thinks like that about everything. He thinks about that in his career. He thinks about that in his personal life. I remember watching his documentary. I was this isn't even anything, right? It's just one big paid ad. But I think if you look at it, it's this is all he could give you. Because there's not really much under the surface at this point.
Once I saw him on stream with speed, and that's when I saw the vibes. All right, this guy.
Yeah, Like Messi is so fun because he's just, you know, not diagnosed, but he's just autistic.
With a touch of the tism.
Like he is, but it was so funny because like when we were young, and I remember when he was young in Barcelona, and like when we still had all the blogs and stuff, there was just the running thing that like this is an autistic kid, and they keep trying to make him do like regular product stuff, and it's not working because you're like, Messi, pose for this picture, and he's like, this is the one face I have of me smiling. And it's so funny because they're like, well, he's such a quiet kid, all he does is just go home and spend time with his girlfriend. I was like, well, we have a word for that. But we can't say that here because no one wants to point it out. But yeah, and so it's like, but he's interesting, I think, when you get him talking to people that he's very, very comfortable with. Like I remember when he won the World Cup and there was that Argentine journalist that he's really, really close with, and he went and did the interview there. And he's like, you know, he's an athlete in all the ways, but when he's opening up, it's so sensitive because it was like I remember like the journalist asked him about that little red bracelet that he was wearing on his leg, and it's because like this fan had given it to him like years ago, and he wore it through the whole World Cup. And then so it's like all these things where it's like there was a fan that like had created these like cards for him when he was like really playing badly and everyone hated him, and like the guy would go like fly to his games trying to hand out these like little playing cards, and Messi like called the wife, right? Because the guy had died in some accident, and they were like literally they were in this interview, and he was like, "Oh, can we call her?" And they called this woman, and he's like talking about how much it meant to him, and like the woman's crying, he's crying. Like you don't get those moments from Ronaldo because he's like, and this is all in service of my underwear. But which is fine, right? Like you gotta sell what you gotta sell. But I think, yeah, he sees himself completely differently, right? Than I think a lot of athletes, even when they don't have much going on the surface, I think you can always tap into something. Where him, I think if you tap into it, you'll get more product.
The last thing I wanted to hit with you was the World Cup coming up in the United States. With all the madness happening here, how do you see this going? I mean, I guess there's a range of possibilities, right? But like, can this go really well, or is this a disaster waiting to happen?
Well, I think it's going to go really badly, right? I don't know how you can imagine this going really well when we just had a bunch of South Koreans that were supposed to help build a plant here just get chained and humiliated, and then come out and say like, why would we come back here, right? Like you have, it's this sort of like misunderstanding of who the actual soccer population in this country is, right? And I think it doesn't even matter if your legal status, right? Because they're just abducting anyone, and the Supreme Court is like, racial profiling is okay. And so you've made it to a place where the people who are here don't want to go to the games because they're scared. I've worked in so much advertising and soccer advertising, and you see all the communities that are just like, oh, we're not holding these watch parties anymore, or like we're not doing all these things because why would we put our community in danger, right? They just canceled like the Day of the Dead in Los Angeles, like an annual tradition. They can't, and they're just like, why would we do that, right? So I think even in the Club World Cup, like the federations had to really push Infantino to make sure that ICE wasn't circling around the stadiums. And I don't know how you hold, like the joke that I always make is like a lot of the terrible countries, whenever they have to hold a tournament like this, they use it as a sports washing program. And part of that is like pretend that none of the horrible things are happening while people are coming, right? I think when you saw Russia's World Cup in 2018, like the year before and leading up to it, they were just like, this is a magical place of freedom. What are you talking about, right? And like the Qatar one, they're just like, rights everywhere. Why would we possibly obstruct any rights to begin with? Where the U.S. is going the opposite way. They're like, if you come here, we're going to kidnap you. Right. It's like complete, like I want to give them like a sports washing 101. Like, hey, look, I hate to I hate to help, but I feel like you're missing the whole sports washing thing. So yeah, I think the sort of way that Infantino is like married to Trump and trying to please him in like a very sycophantic way, I think is very disgusting. Right? The way that the federations are kind of nervous about it, but like especially not just the European federations, but you see like the CONCACAF and like the CONMEBOL, they're just like, how are our fans gonna come here if they don't feel safe? Right? Like it's a World Cup, and like Europe is such a small part of that. That you're talking about the African nations are gonna be here, like the South American nations are gonna be here, like the Caribbean nations are gonna be here, and the Eastern European nations are going to be here, and like the Asian nations are going to be here. And almost all of those people have like suffered some kind of humiliation recently in the United States. And like there's not really anything that is given a hint that is going to slow down. Like you're trying to have like you know, military patrolling the streets. Like that doesn't make anyone feel safe. That doesn't make the people here feel safe. That doesn't make the people who coming here feel safe. So I think this is a interesting like problem because the U.S. was banking so much on this World Cup. Like so much of U.S. soccer was banking so much on this World Cup, and like even in the work that we're doing, like the way they talk about it is like, oh, another inflection moment. And I'm just like, but the political atmosphere is so anti what a World Cup is right now that it's going to be so hard to imagine that change in like 6 months.
So you think the stadiums will be empty? You think that'll be like the effect?
I don't even know if it's the stadiums that's going to be empty more than I don't think the outside of the stadium environment is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Right. Like so much of what makes those big tournaments fun is like, oh, I can go to a watch party. I can go to like this thing. Like it's actually just a way for you to experience the country while you're there. And I don't think that, and also they had put no money in infrastructure. Oh my God. Like they're going to be having the final at MetLife. And I want to see how that works out. When you have all these Europeans come here and they have to deal with that, it's going to be so fantastic for me because I like pain and suffering. But it's just this thing of like, what did you actually do to make this World Cup seem attractive beyond the fact that it's in America? I think it actually might be more fun to go to the games in Mexico and the games in Canada. I think that is the sneaking suspicions right now is like, go to Monterrey, go to Mexico City.
So like, that's a great point. Like this World Cup might be lit 66% of the time.
Yeah, shake a little shoulder in Mexico City. I've seen Dawn of the Dead. But yeah, it's like I know so much of like the Mexican art community is doing so much around the World Cup, right? And I think those games are going to be really fun for people to experience. Like going to Mexico City is like, one of the biggest cities in the world. And one of the biggest cultural centers in the world. And they're so open to people at this time where even if you come to New York right now, the battle from New York is going to be the president trying to assert control while we potentially have a socialist mayor. And even that's going to be tense, right? Like you had federal officers walking around D.C. and you had them, you had riots in Los Angeles not that long ago. So I think Canada and Mexico might be where you see me with a sombrero, and I'm just like, I've always loved Carlos.
I'm so down. Let's go to Mexico City.
We've been said we was going. We've been
said we'll record something there. It's got to be,
Carlos Vela was one of my favorite Arsenal players for a long time. I'm down.
All right, we're gonna do it.
Oh, before we get you out of here, you had an essay that won an award. In particular, funny this World Cup situation, talking about being on a Fox World Cup team. I need to know more about this. And you played for the Palace. There's just too many details, and I need to know how this Nigerian man who's currently in New York end up on the Fox Palestinian World Cup team. Tell me more.
So I grew up in Detroit. I grew up in the greatest city in the world.
Oh, okay.
Right. And so Michigan, like back when I was playing, there was no sort of like soccer inside the city of Detroit before Detroit City FC, which I also played on. Detroit City FC legend, right? But back then you had to drive like 45 minutes, like an hour to go play soccer if you really wanted it, right? So there was this place called Wixom Center, which is like 45 minutes from the center of the city, and it's like in Wixom, which is one of the suburbs. And every year we had like this false World Cup, which is like we just have a World Cup because there's so many different groups of people, especially around the Metro Detroit area, where like it's like you have Dearborn, which is as variations of Arabs and Muslims. You have like Hamtramck, which is also very diverse. You have like, so we would have this full World Cup. And I used to play on the Nigerian team, but as befitting of a Nigerian team, it was just chaotic, right? a lot of a lot of just nonsense, a lot of arguing, a lot of politics. People just like, I remember one time they like put me on the bench because like one of the guys who had organized it played in the same position I did, and I'm like, clearly I'm like a god to him, but that doesn't matter. Like he wants to play, so he gets to play, and I don't like arguing. Right? I'm a man of peace, peace and love. I don't like drama because I just, I was telling this girl that I was seeing that like all of my battles are existential. So I don't like to add like nonsense to that because, I'm fighting the gods in myself. I don't need a bunch of nonsense in the material world.
That sounds like a prelude to a breakup.
No, it was just like, like I like this simple and clean. Right. Like, all right, I'm on this team. We're trying to win. Let's play. We can play the best players, but also let other people play. Like, it's very simple to me. Like, I'm not greedy. But like, that's not how Nigeria works in any level. That's not how Nigeria works on a social level. That's not how Nigeria works on a diasporic level. And that's not how Nigeria works on a political level. It's always a nonsense, chaos, and argument, right? I can go to the Nigerian embassy right now and I'm going to have the worst time of my life. Like, I know what my people are. So after doing that enough times, like, so Palestine always had a team, but they never had enough people. And they would always lose, right? Because, for obvious reasons, because they would, and so I would always play for Nigeria. And then I started seeing them and I was like close to a couple of them. And I was like, oh, I would just play for the Palestinian team because, first of all, again, I am like a god back then on the soccer field, and it simplified the things.
What was your position?
I always played on the wing, so I'm like I can use both feet always. This is by nature, and so like sometimes I'll be on the left wing, sometimes I'll be on the right wing. If they really need it, I'll play forward because I don't like to run, right? And so, but it simplified the game for them so much because what I would do was, they would give me the ball. I would come down. They'll give me the ball. And I'm really good at dribbling, especially back when I had knees. So I would get the ball and just dribble up. And they would have a forward there. And it was like, either I'm like going to play off of him or just pass him the ball. So it really helped them out because they're like, oh, we can just defend and just get you the ball. And then Zito's going to just run. And it kept me in shape, which is great. And so we played this. I played with them for like a couple of the World Cups. And then the last one that we played, we made it to the semifinals. And we played against Lebanon. And Lebanon had Hamoudi Saad, who is Sunni Saad's. I don't know if you guys watch MLS, but Sunni Saad used to play for Seattle Sounders. And he was really, really good. Sunni, Hamoudi, and I played in the youth teams together. Like we played in Dearborn together when we were young. And they had gone to University of Michigan, and I played at Detroit Mercy. And I've known them since they were kids. I know how they play. And I remember telling the team, like, please don't let this man get the ball like 30 yards out. Like, just keep him occupied. And I remember it's 0-0. I'm like, all right, we could take this down to the wire. And I will never forget, this ball comes in. He touches it like 25 yards out. There's no one close to him. And I was like, oh, my God. This boy let off the biggest rocket shot, like upper 90. And I was like, well, you play with the devil, you deal with the consequences. Like, it was just like, I was just having flashbacks to childhood. I was like, oh my God. It's like we're back on that terrible field in Dearborn, Michigan again. Because he was doing this since he was a kid. It's like he never made it to like the pro level, and he didn't even last that long in college because he liked to play, party and drink and like smoke or whatever. But everyone knew that he was better than his brother who played like for MLS and like is still kind of playing. It was just that thing of like, it's not about talent. It's about work ethic.
Yeah,
But
discipline.
it's about discipline. But when it comes to like pure skill, like he could be 30 pounds overweight. He is touching that ball and he is shooting it like his leg was made for it. And he hit that over 90. I was like, fine, 1-0 is not bad. And then and like 20, like what was it, like 10 minutes later, he also gets a cross in the box, literally brings this ball down like a feather. That the goalkeeper didn't even know what to do because the goalkeeper's like, oh, should I come out? Should I stay? And it was like, oh, now you're just in no man's land. And he just like slots it in. And then, you know, afterwards, me and him were just like, I was like, look, I tried to tell them. And they didn't listen. But it was just like I was playing for the Palestine team because like I kind of wrote it in the essay that I just wanted to, you know, I have such strong politics. I think anyone who's ever known me knows like my politics are very strong and like, you know, on the right side of history. But I think of soccer the same way that like I think of like, you know, sharing food with people or like sharing art with people, which is that like the game is made so much better when you were, you know, you had like to share the joy of it with other people. I'm so much of so many of my friends want to get into soccer. I'm like, I'll take you to your first game, or like I'll play on your shitty rec team, because it's like I played on those high competitive teams and I still have those, but I also like to like share the game with people. And that was also part of like my politics. It's like I want to take this thing that I, you know, kind of stood for so long and make it physical and make it enjoyable. Like I hated seeing them lose so early and it like becomes this slog. And I'm just like, no, like let's have fun, let's laugh, let's like drink beer before the next game, which is horrible. And some of you shouldn't even be drinking. Honestly, I've read the Quran, I see what's in there. But it's like fun to do that, and I think we had so much fun. And I like kept that jersey for so long, and I still have it because it was so meaningful, and it was much more fun to do that and lose with them than like argue with the Nigerians again. So that was that.
I'm sorry to bring back the trauma. I seen the flashback from the goal on your face, so I'm sorry about that.
It's like I can describe to you exactly what happened in that goal. It feels like it happened yesterday. I was just like, we were so close to the final, and look what happened. But yeah, so I mean, it was very fun. Like those are my people. I grew up playing in Dearborn, Michigan, for so much of my life. I was there like post 9/11. Like those are the kind of like soccer family that I had, the soccer experience that I had. So for me, that was like, oh, these are, like I'm trying to say is like these were my people from the start in that sense. Like it was never like their struggle is divorced from my struggle, because I'm like, I've shared the field with these people. I've like shared food with them. Like we hang out. I make jokes about their favorite teams. Like it's all connected to me.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. Damn, man, this has been great. This has been an awesome chat. You are. I think this is the longest we've gone with a guest. It's just flowed. So I think we all have to go to Mexico City together now. I think that's the
look. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We put on the sombreros. Ask for consent first. Ask for permission. But we can make this happen.
I got a Lucha Libre mask on ready to go.
Look, Rey Mysterio.